Welcome to Unstoppable Entrepreneurs, brought to you by New to the Street. I'm your host, Dustin Plantholt. Today, joining us here inside the New York Stock Exchange is an unstoppable entrepreneur. His name is Bill Caridius. He is the founder and CEO of Spartan Equipment. Bill, welcome to Unstoppable Entrepreneurs.
Thanks for having me, Dustin. It's great being here in the Big Apple with you and experiencing, the New York City vibe.
So entrepreneurship, it's really easy, isn't it?
You would think so. Unfortunately, no. In most cases, it takes will, determination, and a lot of late night burning of the oil to succeed in our great country. The United States has afforded my family tremendous opportunity being a first generation Greek, right? My parents both immigrated after the Second World War and came to this country with very meager means, not very well educated, but worked hard and showed me the value of what it takes to be persistent and to not give up. And that instilled in me an ethic that has stayed with me to this day and what has helped me build my brand, Spartan Equipment, with that same value system. But to say it was easy along the way, no, it has its challenges. But without the challenges, I don't think it would be as fun. I look forward to challenges. I always have. And coming up against an obstacle always makes me feel like, well, there's an opportunity. So that's kind of how I view it.
So tell us about Spartan.
So Spartan Equipment was birthed in 2012. It's a nationwide brand of compact construction equipment attachments. And they're implements that go on a skid steer loader, better known as a Bobcat. Most common, people would refer to that as a Bobcat motor. So I came up with that idea after being in the industry for a number of years. I entered the industry in 1989 as a young guy. But by 2012, after selling other brands, high profile brands and so forth, I decided to create my own brand with my own values and to serve clients in the manner with which I wanted to serve them, with a high level of product support, knowledge of expertise, and great products to help revolutionize the industry with what those products could do, and to serve our clients, whether they're high profile government agencies to small intermediate construction contracting firms, or even the homeowner now that uses these products to manage their property and their land.
So interesting, this word excellence, that it tends to attract excellence. Your brand has built a reputation of being excellent in the industry. What do you attribute that to?
Well, again, I think it has a lot to do with my core values and how they're implemented. So, we have certain pillars that we want to stand by as our foundation with Spartan. And number one is the quality of the product, the integrity of the products, the integrity of the materials that we build the products with, but then also how to advise the client that we're potentially entertaining to earn business from, how our products can best serve their need and their application. So, it's kind of technical, but not so much when you break it down and explain with the knowledge that you've acquired of your products to help meet the needs that your client might have and help them succeed with your products.
Now, we're here among companies that are investing in this world of automation, artificial intelligence, but you still remain in this human-centered world of relationship and relationship capital.
Yeah.
So how do you maintain relationships?
It's not as easy as it was when I started selling in 97. So back in that day, we used to do what's called tow and show. So I would literally have a rollback with a piece of equipment, and I drove everywhere, every day on job sites, shook hands, did the demonstration face to face. Well, now this generation has morphed to wanting to see things electronically very quickly. They move at a pace with business that was different than it was in the 80s and the 90s and even the early 2000s. So I had to adapt my approach to more inbound marketing, right? Instead of outbound marketing. And I found through technology and using technology to the advantage of my company and to my clients, I could disseminate the information they wanted quicker with great content, videos, and so forth, and leverage that for their benefit as well as mine. So now we do much more volume using inbound marketing than outbound. So it's become more efficient, but the relationship has changed. because you don't speak to them face to face much anymore. And that's just by the design and nature of how things have changed in everyone's industry.
Well, in terms of some of your better relationships, nurturing those, who are some of the companies or individuals you work with?
Well, we work with military, right? Large military contracts, governments, municipalities, right? But as far as companies, we've dealt with companies as large as Sunbelt Rentals, Rental Tools, which are leaders in the rental space. And our brand has stood the test of quality and expectation so that they come back to us and then do referrals. But we also sell to other equipment dealers with brands as large as Caterpillar, John Deere, Ditch Witch, New Holland Case. So we deal with other brands as well because we have bleed over of our product, which also helps the big brands with products that maybe they don't offer yet in their arsenal that we help fill the gaps for. So it's kind of a hand in hand as well as dealing with the end user ultimately. So we do all. We're kind of a hybrid in that sense.
Now, does it require obsession to succeed in business?
I would say balance. Obsession is a strong word. And one thing that I've learned personally and professionally, and I tend to be a very type A, hard driven person, right? And I think you have to be to succeed in most cases, right? But obsession can border on abuse. So I say balance. I've learned as I've aged, not only as a human being, but as a business person, that striking the balance between obsession, control, optimism, pessimism, and realism is key. So that's kind of the balance that I've learned at this intersection in my career and running this company, to not be so obsessed with things that don't matter, but to focus on the things that matter most, not only to your company, but to those you serve, your clients, your employees. And I think that balance has served me well in striking it as I've aged as an owner and as a human being.
Now, you've built a multi-million-dollar practice and you've reached what many would say would be success. Do you see yourself as being successful?
I do more so in life, maybe not so much in business. Business, yes. But I think success in life, the legacy you leave behind, the lives you help change. And, I've coached other salespeople that work with me and my employees over the years to strike the balance in the mentality of letting their mind think about what we're doing. Like, it's not just selling construction equipment. The skid steer loader, since its inception in 1958, has revolutionized the world. It has changed Europe, North America, South America, every country on the globe. And a lot of people in my space don't look at it like I do. It's a revolutionary life change. It's helped housing, improve housing, make it more affordable because you can build these things much more efficiently with what we call the Swiss Army knife of construction equipment. It has changed the globe. It has changed commerce in so many ways. And that's how I look at it. And everyone that works with me or around me will look at it through that lens of understanding the importance. And it adds this added layer of value to what you do or what I do every day. I'm passionate about it all these years later. 30 years, 38 years later, I'm just as passionate about this industry and helping change the world with these products.
It's interesting. I have a friend of mine, Keith Chapman. People typically don't know his name, but they do know the name Bob the Builder. Yeah, is the creator Bob the Builder. He made what most people had overlooked. He brought it to the masses to say, these are the individuals that are building your monuments, laying the foundations of your roads on the people that you should be paying attention to. Yeah. And that is the industry that you are catering to, that you're making each and every individual feel that they matter. And that starts with you and your belief system. So last question, to those entrepreneurs out there, they're stuck. They've got the idea. That execution, as you know, is quite difficult.
Yeah.
Talk them through the process.
So part of my natural giftings and the way my mind articulates and looks at things and focuses things, it's kind of like a chessboard. And at the same time, I'm very analytical, very data driven. It's just the way my mind works. I'm a spec head. That's why I succeeded so well in this industry. So I've taken those strengths and I built an architecture brick by brick by brick, but first setting a firm foundation on, first of all, Why am I doing it? Secondly, who am I going to do it for? And how am I going to serve best? And through that architecture, building the foundation that way is how I've structured a brand and a company that is respected by our clients and others because of how we support the product, but also having a continual focus on a structure of where we want to be. A ship without a rudder will sail to any port. So if you have a rudderless ship, as a young entrepreneur, that's the first thing I'm going to tell you. Put your hand on the rudder. Stop fearing steering your ship because that's the killer. That kills most small entrepreneurs. The fear of grabbing the rudder and steering it. A lot of times they want to disseminate and have someone else steer their ship for them. That's a fatal mistake in my humble opinion. So that is my best piece of advice for a young entrepreneur. Know where your ship wants to go. Figure out which dock you want to end up in because a ship without a rudder will sail into any port, and you may end up in a port that you necessarily don't want to be in. And that's a bad feeling.
Well, for somebody that I've known for nearly 30 years, you continue to be unstoppable. Thank you again, Bill, for joining us on Unstoppable Entrepreneurs. We'll see you next time.